from Stamping Imperfection. Thank you for joining me today. I am playing with some Maker Forte stamp sets, and these are so fun. I'm going to make two cards today. I'm going to make a regular size slimline card and a mini slimline card. And I'm using these two stamp sets. The first one is called Have a Beautiful Day. That's the main set. And then the second one is Iced Baby, and it's an add-on set. So these two sets coordinate. If you get just one, you want the Have a Beautiful Day one. But that second set gives you a lot of extra sentiments and a lot of extra little decorative latte images for inside your cup of coffee. So I cut all my card bases and everything, and I want to use a stencil as the background because I've had this Jess Francisco stencil. It looks like a doily, and I believe it's called In Bloom. And I've had it for maybe a couple of months, and I've been dying to use it, and this just seems like a perfect use for it. So I'm using this opaque Ranger paste, and you can see this is a brand new jar. I use a lot of paste and stuff in my mixed media projects, and I'm adding some Sugar Sparkle glitter, and this is the Snow Flurries glitter, and I just poured a bunch on because I want it to be super sparkly. And I have to say the Snow Flurries glitter would have been better added to transparent paste because you can't really see the sparkle as much as I would like. So the next time I would do this, I would use the silver, or a color of glitter would be really pretty too. That will show up a lot better. And another thing to keep in mind is that, because I'm going to add some more here, because I'm thinking not enough sparkle, because can you ever really have enough sparkle? I'm not really sure. But I added some more, which of course makes it dry. Like, I cook enough to know that if I add more flour to something, it's going to suck up all the liquid in there, and this is kind of what it does. I get a pretty interesting texture with this, and I was a little concerned that when I put this on, it was actually going to dry and just crumble off my project, but it didn't. This paste actually remained very flexible when it dried, even with all that added glitter that I put in there. Surprisingly, isn't that a pretty stencil? There's so much you can do with this stencil, friends, and it's just so pretty. It just looks like a doily, and I thought it would look pretty under a latte cup. So I'm just spreading this on with my palette knife, and I'll cover the whole thing with as even a coat as I can, and then I'm going to put it aside to let it dry. Now I do want to point out that I am using one of my perfect placement tools for stenciling as my craft mat underneath this. I love the material they made this out of. It cleans up beautifully no matter what kind of stencil techniques I do, and I'm using the back of the mat, so the raised lines are actually on what is now the bottom of the mat, because I didn't want to get the paste like squished into those lines. And it works beautifully. It cleans up beautifully. I love the size of this mat. I'm so happy that when they designed it, they left a lot of room around the lines on the front, because you can use it for all kinds of mixed media techniques, and another thing too, friends, I was thinking about adding some color, because when this dries, I can add actually like ink blend some color on this to give the background some color. The texture paste will resist the color. Although now that I've changed the texture, it might actually not resist it as well as it would have before I did that. But I really loved the white on white look, so I didn't do that. So you could add color to the texture paste also. You can add a few drops of your re-inker to the texture paste and mix it all together, or you can smush your ink pad onto that mat and then mix the paste into the ink that you smushed onto the mat, and that'll give you some beautiful color. So I set that aside to dry someplace where I wasn't going to touch it or bump it or knock it off the table, and I'm going to do my stamping. So I pulled out the coffee ring the coffee cup ring. You can see to the right the picture there. And then I pulled out one of the salad round stamps. I pulled the larger of the two salad round stamps, and then I picked one of the latte decorative images and one of the sentiments. This says sending a card to perk up your day, which I love. So the cup the cup piece that I'm using, I'm inking in the pop art color, and then the solid piece I'm inking up in my Catherine Pooler Over Coffee, I think it's called, ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and restamp that green, that pop art. I love this color, and I love the effect I got. I'm so happy that I inked this up in this pop art color, because one of my favorite Copic combinations is that BG combination in the teens, and I'll use that, and you'll see that beautiful pop art teal color gave me a no-line coloring look once I colored that in. So I'm very happy with that. And those the pop art is one of the neon inks, and they are really soft colors but very bright in color, and they're pretty transparent. I love them. They're so beautiful. They're gorgeous to ink blend onto things. So my original thought was that I would ink blend that over the dried doily, but I ended up not doing that because I love the white on white so much. So I decided that I would put this right directly onto the brown circle piece, and I inked that up with my clear Color Hive ink, and I'm using white embossing powder, and I'm going to go ahead and heat set that, and then I'm going to fussy cut out these two pieces. So I'll heat set it and fussy cut them, and before I fussy cut them, I did decide to color this in. This is BG 19, and I actually end up adding more color to this later because I skipped over BG 15 and went straight to BG 13 here, and I didn't feel like I got enough dark around this coffee cup ring. So and this is actually like you're looking down from the top on above the coffee cup to the top of the coffee cup, so this is actually the rim of the cup. So I'm using BG 13, BG 11, and then BG 10 here, and I love this. This is one of my very favorite color combinations, and that pop art ink is perfection with this blending family here. So I'm just going to finish that off and fussy cut them all out, and then I'll build my card. I have all the pieces cut now. I'll also cut out that sentiment, and I'll go ahead and if you don't have a good pair of like paper scissors, these Cuttleby ones are very nice. I also like the Tim Holtz non-stick little micro serrated ones. Those are very nice as well. So I decided I would pop up that coffee / foam piece circle on some foam dots, and you can see I'm getting to the end of the package, and I'm using all the bits because we aren't wasting things here. And I'll pop that up, and I actually really like the way this came out. I think this is a really fun set. I don't know if I've ever seen a stamp set like this, and I love that they threw in an add-on to give you extra decorations. Like there's so many to choose from. It's actually hard to choose, and the sentiments are really fun puns and things, so I think it'll be really fun. So I went ahead, I have my card base, which is cut from white, and I cut that at 8 by 8.5. I scored it at 4, so my finished card is 4 by 8.5. Then the teal panel that I have there is cut at let me think about this, 3 7/8 by 8, what did I say, 8.5, so the 8 3/8. So it's 1/8 inch narrower and 1/8 inch shorter. So this top piece is 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. So I just glued that on once it was dry, and I did clean it up with my sanded eraser because I had a few stray bits of paste. And you can see I added a little teal cardstock to the sentiment just to make it pop off the card, because I left that white on white, that doily, and it's a pretty touch up close. I have to say, in person, that's a very pretty touch. So I'm just going to stick this onto the doily like it's sitting on my table on top of that doily. I'll glue down the sentiment, and of course I have to add some crown jewel gems. And yes, I did just get the teal crown jewel gems in my last order because I have to have all the colors now. I definitely have to have all the colors of crown jewel gems. So I put a bunch of these on because just to break up some of the white, and because I love them. The color is really fabulous. So this is pretty much a monochrome card with the exception of that brown ink. And I think that it's really fun. I think you could tuck a really nice gift card in there, and there you go. So I have a second card I want to share with you, just to show you what else I did with this stamp set. So for the second card, I'm going to create a mini slimline, and I've got these gel prints that I pulled maybe about a month ago. I made a whole stack of them, and I really like this dark one with the white in it and a little bit of yellow. Like, I just really like it. There's some blue in there. So I'm going to cut this down, and I'm going to make a mini slimline that ends up being 3 by 6. So I'm going to cut this piece down to about 5 7/8 by 2 7/8. So I'm just going to cut off some of this. So I just love the way this one gel print turned out, and I thought it would look really pretty with the doily. So I'm going to go ahead and put the doily on top of this, and this time I'm just going to use some white pigment ink and just ink this on, blending tool, just like I would any other ink. And I'm just going to put a light coat of it. The white pigment ink is pretty transparent, or surprisingly transparent, and even if I let it dry and put another coat on, that transparency remains, but I think it looks really pretty. I love this stencil. So this is a quick and easy way to use a stencil, and it always looks fantastic. You can add a couple of colors if you want to, but it's just a very nice way to do that. So I'm cleaning it all up, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my cup and my other bits. And you can see I still am using that the back of that perfect placement tool, and I love this as a little mat. It works. It's a great. This one I'm going to do this with the Yellowstone ink, and this is a nice bright yellow. This is spectacular. And of course I have some yellow Copics in the teens, the Y in the teens, like 17, 15, 13, and 11 I think is the lightest one I used, that I will color this in just like I did the other one. But this time I'm going to stamp that brown right into the center of the cup. So I don't have two separate pieces, and I won't have that popped up on foam. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll go ahead and pick one of the little latte foam pieces. And I really like this like circular heart set with the heart in the center. And this is from the main kit, or the main stamp set, which is Have a Beautiful Day. And the sentiment I'm pulling from the other set, the Iced Ice Baby add-on. And I'm just going to ink this up once. You could ink it up twice if you wanted to. I don't actually find it makes that much difference inking it a second time with the pigment ink. And this is the Hero Arts Hero Hues. It's their unicorn white ink, and I like this ink. Once I got it all fussy cut out, I went ahead and added my colors, And of course you don't have to use Copics. You can use whatever your favorite coloring medium is. And remember, you can actually add this with like a water brush from your ink pad also, or a blender tool. So you can add that way too. You don't have to do it this way. I just love to color. So I got all my bits cut and fussy cut and stamped, and I went ahead and added that that gel print with the doily stenciled on to a piece of white cardstock. And this is just a scrap. I just added it so you could see a hint of that white border around. And then I'm going to put it on some of that Yellowstone cardstock. And that is a gorgeous color. It almost is like a yellow-orange color, because Maker Forte has coordinating cardstocks with their ink pads, which is wonderful. And I did put it on, that yellow is actually the card background, and it is cut 3 by 6 and scored at 3 inches. So I'm going to put this cup that I created down with some foam tape, and I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment. And the sentiment I chose for this one was take life one cup at a time. And I will tuck a little coffee gift card in and send this to one of my teacher friends for the first day of school. So I think they'll really like this. Of course, I'm going to add some crown jewel gems, and for this one I decided to add some gold ones. These are like amber, and I'll just add like 3 of these to this card, because then it'll give it a little sparkle, and that's going to complete my card. So I will have a mini slimline and a regular slimline made with this fantastic Have a Beautiful Day and Iced Ice Baby add-on stamp set. Just love them. So I'll put all the links to everything below. Please give this video a thumbs up, and if you aren't subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel and click that bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. So thank you so much for watching, friends. Have a wonderful day.